So the ECMAScript 2016, they have added two features in this ECMAScript 2016: exponentiation operator and the array dot includes. We'll go one by one. So the exponentiation operator, that is a actually double star. So exponentiation operator raises the first operand to the power of second operand. For example, here x raised to 2, which is x is a 5, so the 5 raised to 2 result is a 25. This operator produces the same result as a math.power function. So next is the includes function of array. So ECMAScript 2016 introduced array.prototype.includes to the array, and this includes allows us to check if an element is present in array or not. If the element is found, it will return true, else it will return false. As we see here, mango is there in fruits array, so it will return true in our case. So the ECMAScript 2017 added these four features in JavaScript. So we'll go one by one. String dot string padding, that string dot pad start and string dot pad end, then the object dot entries, then object dot values, and async function. These string methods added like pad start and pad end to support the padding at the beginning and at the end of the string. Here when we apply the pad start method to a string, it adds like 0 0 0 0 at the start of the string, and when we apply the pad end method to a string, it adds 0 0 0 at the end of the string. Actually this is a 40005 and the 50000. So it will add 4 zeros at the start, and this will add 4 zeros at the end. Then the next is object dot entries. Actually ES6 also has added object dot entries, but that was an instance method, and this object dot entries is a static method of the object. So here we can see this object dot entries of a person, and it will return the combination of key and value of each property from this object. Then we have object dot values. So this is also a static method to a object. So this object dot values will return an array of the all values of this person object in the array. Like here we have this first name's value John, last name's value Doe, and so on. It will return in the form of array. Then we have async function, async and await. This is a new syntax to work with promises. Actually this is a more readable syntax than promise.then. We use try catch to handle the errors in this syntax. Then await keyword tells JavaScript to pause the execution till the promise gets settles, that is resolve or reject. And when we want to use this await keyword in a function, we have to denote that function as a async function, as we see here in our example. Okay, the next is the features added in ECMAScript 2018. There are two main features added in ECMAScript 2018. Actually, sorry, it's a 2018. One is a promise finally, and the second is a object rest properties. We'll see one by one. First is a promise dot finally. So the ECMAScript 2018 finalizes the full implementation of the promise object with promise.finally API. Here there are two conditions. One is the promise will fulfill, and the second is the promise will reject. So if we write the handler for finally, this will always get executed after the then or this catch means resolve or reject. Okay, so the next is object rest properties. ECMAScript 2018 added rest properties. This actually allows us to destructure an object and collect the leftovers onto a new object. Like in our example, x has a value 1 and we collect it in this x variable, and so then we have to clear this x, y and z variable. So x will take this one value, y will take these two value, and the other remaining properties a and b will get wrapped in z as an object. Also, ECMAScript 2018 added 4 new regex features. The next is ECMAScript 2019. Majorly, there are 6 new features in ECMAScript 2019. We'll see it one by one. That's a string dot trim start, string dot trim end, object dot from entries, then optional catch binding, and then array dot flat and array dot flat map. Okay, so the trim start and the trim end. So this trim start method will remove the white spaces from the starting of the string, and trim end will remove the white spaces from the end of the string. As we can see here, this has removed the starting white spaces and this has removed the ending white spaces. Then the object dot from entries. So this method is a static for the object, and this method will create an object from multi-dimensional array. Like we can see here, uh, we have this multi-dimensional array fruits, and we'll create an object from this fruits array using this object dot from entries. So we can see the output that it will create object with apple, pears and bananas property, and which is having the values 300, 900, 500 respectively for each property. Then the optional catch binding. Previously we use try catch like this. So now onward, 20 ECMAScript 2019 onwards, we don't need to write this parenthesis by catching the errors. I mean, if you don't want to, if you don't care about the what is the actual exception, we can write our try catch like this without this parenthesis followed by catch. Well, the next is array dot flat method. So the flat method creates a new array by flattening a nested array. Like here, it gives us a flat array from this multidimensional array like this 1 2 3 4. It put the all the elements on the same level. Then array dot flat map. This flat map method first maps all elements of an array and then creates new array by flattening the array. Also, ECMAScript 2019 revised array.sort, json.stringify, and function.toString. Okay, so the next is ECMAScript 2020. They have added these four features in ECMAScript 2020. It's a big int, the nullish coalescing operator, and the optional optional chaining operator, and promise dot all settled. The nullish coalescing operator, that is double question mark, and optional chaining operator, that is question mark and dot operator. Okay, so the first is begint. JavaScript begint variables are used to store big integer values that are too big to present by normal JavaScript number. JavaScript integers are only accurate up to 15 digits. So there are two ways to define a begint. That one is adding the small n after the number, and the second is begint constructor function and passing the value to the function. Next is nullish coalescing operator, that is double question mark. The nullish coalescing operator is useful if the first variable is null, then return a second variable, and so on. Here in our example, text2 will get written because the text1 is a null. Then the next is optional chaining operator. This operator returns undefined if an object is undefined or null. Instead of throwing an error, it will return undefined or null. So here we have a car object, but even if this object is not present, uh, this reading the name property will retain undefined. Previously, uh, in previous versions of JavaScript, it will throw the error that trying to read the name property of undefined. But in this case, even if this object is not exist, it will return undefined instead of throwing an error. Also, this will only work in a supported browser. Okay, so the next is promise dot all settled. In case of promise dot all, it will reject immediately upon any of the input promises rejecting. But in case of all settled, it wait for every promise to fulfill or reject, and then returns array of settled promise value.